And we're back with Dubster Dive, the series where we look at something's English dub. And look at that, Di, we're watching something that's good again. I feel like the scales are starting to tip, finally. Lots of good stuff.
Just to wait for the suggestions and have fun with those.
You know, ironically enough, you joined me for the worst one on that one last time. When we did a suggestion month. Need to bring that back again soon. Some of those were fun. Anyway.
No one wants to be a welfare hero.
No, but what we do want to be is Trigun. Who doesn't want to be Vash the Stampede? Which, if you haven't seen Trigun 98 yet, as it's now being dubbed for obvious reasons, you should definitely go watch it. Especially with how different it seems to be than the new version that's out.
Different.
And yeah, it's one of the other space westerns, man. Between Outlaw Star and Bebop. So,
how do you buy space?
Yes. Oh yeah.
Oh.
If you haven't seen Trigun yet, go watch it. Seriously, it's good. It's on Hulu. Well, Trigun is a manga written by Yasuhiro Naito from 1995 to 1997 until his manga publishing company went bankrupt. Because of course it did. So the manga was moved over to another publishing company and rebranded as Trigun Maximum. Not Maximum Earth, sadly. But that version would run from 98 to 2007.
Aww.
Oh, yeah. The anime was done by Studio Madhouse. Speaking of magical welfare. And would air in 1998. Holy shit, dude. What are you doing over there? That is coming through the mic really bad. You don't need to shank someone on stream, man. It's not worth it.
No. Why would I do that? Then they'll know I used a knife on you. Wait, what?
What? Oh, anyway. Yeah, Madhouse did it. Johnny Yong, speaking of people who went out of business, would get the rights to release it in the US and aired on Adult Swim in 2003. But Johnny Yong died, so then Funimation got the rights to it to put it out. And then Funimation died, so now it's in the hands of Crunchyroll. What is with the companies who keep touching this show dying?
God, Crunchyroll is nuts. Laugh at them.
I got nothing, man.
I mean, they're just as good as with money as Funimation, so they're definitely next.
Well, we'll see what happens. But yeah. Trigun follows the story. We are on the planet of Gunsmoke. Could you tell it's a western yet?
No. I wasn't beaten over the face with it enough. Tell me more.
As we follow Vash the Stampede, the humanoid typhoon, because wherever he goes, destruction follows. It's something about him causing the destruction of a city 20 years ago or something. So he's got a bounty on his head of 60 billion double dollars. Yes, they're called double dollars in this universe, because anime, shut up.
I mean, on the posters and stuff, it's just the dollar sign twice. Literally.
They even call cents in this C cents. But yeah. The thing is with Vash is he's got Batman's code of never wanting to take a life. So, though unlike Batman and a lot of media, they actually do draw attention to it and explain why in certain situations that might not be the best thing, since one of the show's big things is...
Especially the movie, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, the show's big theme is standing up for your beliefs and how much are you willing to go with your morals, etc., and believing in them.
Believe in the me that doesn't believe in you. Wait.
Yeah. And you could tell Vash has a troubled past, but he doesn't show it. He does the whole thing acting goofy as hell to put on a brave face, whatever, constantly laughing and being giddy like an idiot. Even though you could tell that he's hiding something.
An addiction to donuts.
Oh yeah, he's addicted to donuts too. But I mean, who isn't? Donuts are fucking good, dude. What? Well, anyway, we follow him in his journeys, and he picks up a couple of friends along the way.
Friends.
Yeah. Including our two main female characters from an insurance company that are meant to basically chronicle how much damage he's causing and how to reimburse people. The Bernhard Deli Insurance Agency. Which I think they changed something about that in Stampede, but that's a topic for whenever we get to that one.
Burnside?
Yes. There's other characters too, but we'll get to them once we get down to the cast list. But overall, yeah, this show is really fun. Vash, I agree with everyone, is easily one of the best written anime protags you'll ever see. There's a reason everyone agrees that he makes the show. I mean, he has a giant fuck-off pistol, but refuses to use it for the first, like, third of the show or so.
Yeah, Ocelot would be disappointed in that. Boy, it's a revolve.
Damn it. So yeah, but when he does use it, you can tell he's definitely earned the reputation for being one of the best gunslingers there. So it makes you wonder more about what the hell is his tragic past of why he is all Batman and shit. But enough about talking about one of the sexiest anime protags. Let's get to the animation. It's Madhouse, so I'm guessing it's not shit.
It's not Orient.
I don't think that's really fair, though. This is Madhouse.
Yeah, it also came out in 1998. It's more than fair enough to compare it at this point.
I'm not sure, though, because lots of anime came out in the 90s that still hold up well animation-wise. Cover the Street Fighter movie anime thingy.
Yeah, and an anime coming out now that can't even keep up with that. Well, nothing said.
Yeah, everything's good. Especially a lot of the fights, people seem to say look really good and are well choreographed. Particularly the final fight, which some people say is their favorite climactic fight in all of anime to this day, for good reason. But yeah, so OST though, I mean, it's Western shit. What do you expect? It's all good, especially if you're into Westerns and stuff. Oh, nothing really to complain about. But do you know what it's time for, Di?
Oh no.
The reason we're here. The reason it's called Dubster Dive. So the dub for the anime was done by Animes, who we've covered here before, although I think this dub studio's also been shut down, if I'm not mistaken, which would kind of be hilarious, because it would just...
classic.
Anyone who touches this IP, man! Well, we have two ADR directors. First one being Joe Ramersa, who worked on Android Geek Hider the animation and the Street Fighter Alpha movie, which we'll be getting to at some point. And the second one being
eventually.
The second one being Leah Sargent, who helped ADR direct Perfect Blue and Serial Experiments Lane. And she's also on the main cast list, so you all know what that means. She is evil. Wait a minute, doesn't make sense.
It makes perfect sense if you don't think about it.
And the script is by Steve Bloom. And got no real complaints about the script, but there is something that you'll notice if you pay close attention. They say cavalry instead of cavalry.
You're welcome.
seriously, once you start picking up on some people saying cavalry, you can't unhear it.
I can't believe they kept saying G-Virus.
Call in the cavalry. Yes! Send in the hill Jesus died on for backup. It makes sense. But aside from that, yeah, I think the script was fine. Had some pretty funny moments.
I mean, that's more of a directing thing than a script thing.
Yeah. Speaking of directing, the script, or not the script, the directing was pretty good too. The sub, you could tell, is dated in some areas, but more often than not, all the mains do a fantastic job. Speaking of mains, Vash the Stampede. And with Johnny Yong Bosch's first major role. Actually, he says it's his debut into anime, so I'm gonna take his word on this one.
But not his debut in voicing. If anyone knows a thing about him.
Yep. And he would tell the story of how he got the role. The long and short of it is, apparently audio for a film he was in got fucked and he had to dub over it in post. And one of the ADR directors heard him do it and was like, hey, we could use you for this anime we're currently working on. And that's basically it. That's the TLDR. And how does he do as Vash? Well, he's fucking great as Vash. You could tell it's his first role easily in the first couple of episodes, but I don't know, man. I think in the back half he definitely fits into the role perfectly. You could tell by that point he gets the character.
There's just some weird. It just sounds like there's some weird slight accent that he's doing for Vash. Is the only thing I have to.
Yeah.
Like you know what I'm talking about.
I know. I could you could hear it slightly, but you could tell
like
he's
a very slight accent, and it's just kind of weird to get used to.
I already said he was told to mimic the Weebanese whatever, and he tried doing that.
Oh, so he's also weird. I mean, wait.
Yes. But if you ever meet Johnny Yong Bosch, ask him to quote that this world is made of love and peace.
You don't even have to. He does that on Twitter all the time.
Yeah. I mean, he says the other thing people ask him to do is say Vash's full name, but he can't really quote that as easily. People have seen the show and know what I'm talking about, and it is hilarious. I can't even fucking pretend to quote it. But yeah, JYB did perfect here, I think. As a debut role, think about it. How many of us have their debut role and sound awkward as fuck, or just don't sound as good because they haven't really found their footing yet?
Or they get their debut role as a character that's literally a piece of cardboard, and they can't save anything about them.
Yeah, so he could not have gotten a better debut because Vash goes from wildly silly to fucking cool as hell at the drop of a hat, which he has to nail perfectly. And then he'd go on to voice Ichigo, so you know.
Yeah, and then he'd base Nero on Ichigo. Because they made the poor decision of giving him character free.
Kind of funny if you look up interviews about how he got into anime. He's like, oh yeah, you know, Akira. He'd go on to voice Kaneda in the 2001 dub of Akira anyways. So I bet that made him happy. But yeah, so he did great as Vash. I don't think anyone else could fit as Vash, which fortunately we waited a little bit to record this or whatever, since they just announced he's back in Trigun Stampede. I guess every once in a while Crunchy can do something smart. Well, let's move on to the rest of our cast. So next, we have Meryl, the insurance chick that's chasing after him. She's tsundere. And because she's tsundere, she's voiced by Dorothy Fawn, who's never voiced a tsundere before, especially not around this time. Anyone remember Naru from Love Hina or Kaoru from Rurouni Kenshin?
Yes, by never, we mean nothing by it.
Yeah. But hey, she's a fun character. Who doesn't like Meryl, right? So, and I mean, Dorothy's right at home here. You could tell she's voiced these type of characters a lot, and this was her typecasting. And her whole thing is, in the beginning, she doesn't believe that this guy that she's chasing is Vash, you know, because he just seems too stupid and silly.
I can't believe it. He's just too stupid.
Because Vash, he comes across very dim-witted and idiotic, but when the shit gets serious, yeah, you can tell it's all an act, basically. Since, you know, he's running from his past or whatever.
And for a lot of the things he does, he's not seen doing it for like the first 4 or so episodes.
Yeah. But after her, we have Millie, the other insurance chick that's with her. Her whole thing is being an optimist. To a fault, so one could say an idiot. No, she's just bubbly and upbeat and everything. And she's voiced by Leah Sargent, one of our ADR directors, who we just covered in the Street Fighter II film as Chun-Li. She's also Ikari in Battle Athlete's Victory, and the premise of that anime sounds amazing alone with how stupid it is. But I think she does fine as Millie. She does a good job sounding upbeat and energetic and everything. And probably someone a shit ton of people waifu, being as how I've heard a bunch of people already say in Stampede, where the hell is she?
We'll find out eventually.
But yeah. The last major main we have is Wolfwood, who's probably my favorite character. You're either on Team Vash or Team Wolfwood. Pick a side. Wait a minute. Wolfwood is a traveling preacher, man, who carries a giant cross that turns into a gun. Why? Because he's literally carrying all of his sins and mercy with him. That's how he describes it.
Also has some guns in it, too. That second part doesn't happen for a while.
Yeah, and some of the best interactions in the show are when him and Vash's ideals clash, because Vash doesn't want to kill anyone, and Wolfwood more or less explains, in this world where crime is rampant, because again, you know, Western and shit, you're gonna have to kill eventually for survival. Because otherwise, you're not going to make it, and you can't save everybody. So, you know. And it's one of those things where both ideals aren't wrong, and the anime never really picks a side with it. It lets you decide. It doesn't treat you like an idiot.
Not me, you.
Well, Wolfwood is voiced by Jeff Nimoy, who is, yes, legit related to Leonard Nimoy. Who's Johnny from Fist of the North Star, and Tentamon from Digimon, the plant thingy. And I think he does good as Wolfwood. You can tell he's having a lot of fun. Which, I mean, wouldn't you have fun with Wolfwood, Dai?
You just had to bring up plants.
Yes. Yes, I did. But yeah, Wolfwood is fucking great. Everyone loves Wolfwood. After him, I'm going to try refraining from spoilers as much as possible, but that's difficult with our next few characters, so I'll try to be light on it, but yeah. We have our main villain, Knives, who's, you find out right...
Real subtle name for a villain.
Yep. And this is the other thing with this show, and you could tell it would inspire some things going forward. Knives is Vash's twin brother, who has conflicting ideals with him, and they each have a white and black pistol. Huh. Nah, doesn't sound familiar to me at all. You got anything?
No. Nothing at all.
Well, Knives is voiced by Kirk Bailey, who tragically passed away recently. You know what? With all the voice actors dying, I'm going with my theory, man. Masako Nozawa's pushing 90 and still voicing perfectly fine. She is stealing their souls to maintain her youthful ability to voice act. I'm sticking to it. But anyway, Kirk Bailey's known as he was Shen in Cowboy Bebop, and his final role was the DC League of Super Pets. What a way to fucking go out. Anyone remember that movie from last year? No? I didn't either until I saw this. But yeah, he actually does a really good job as Knives. I don't have any complaints. He does a good job hamming it up and coming across intimidating, like you don't want to fuck with him. He also hates humanity. But I mean, it is humans.
Yeah, they have it coming.
Such a shame, too, that he's Knives isn't really here till the last third, because, yeah, he does a good job chewing up the scenery when he is here as him. But speaking of the versions we do get a lot of, first we have Young Vash, voiced by another debut role for Bryce Papenbrook. And you wouldn't even be able to tell it's him unless you knew ahead of time. Unless you're gonna say you could tell that was him, Doc.
You could easily tell if you know.
Yeah, this was when Bryce was a child actor, so, you know. But he would go on to voice Eren Yeager in Attack on Titan, and Kirito in SAO. In fact, a lot of people thought because Kirito's Japva was Vash in the Stampede anime, they were going to get Bryce in for Vash here. But no, they didn't.
Just like with Fruits Basket, the sub changed all the Vas out in Stampede.
They did that with Berserk as well. Japan rarely keeps consistent casts with their anime. That's why it's... yeah. Dubs, that is one thing Dubs went out on, is we do at least try to keep some consistency, it seems. But yeah, I'd say since we can't really get Knives back, maybe they could get Bryce in as Knives, you know, as a nice callback. I doubt they will, but still be cool.
It's highly unlikely unless they're recording for AOT or something.
Well, he does good as Young Vash, I guess. You could tell some of his lines sound a little awkward here and there, but overall, it's his debut role. What do y'all want? Next up, we have Young Knives, who is the Knives we get a lot of because of all the flashbacks with him. Voiced by Joshua Seth, who's Ty from Digimon, and Jeff from the Big O. You know what? We're watching that by the end of the year, man. We have referenced it enough. What?
Yeah. Who doesn't like a mecha?
Exactly. And, yeah, he's good as Young Knives, too. So, no complaints. After him,
his
though...
first instinct is to kill humanity.
He has good reason with the shit that happened. Honestly. Well, the people...
They had it coming.
Yeah. Only a couple people left on the main cast list to go over. Next, we have Rem, who's the pseudo-parent figure to Vash and Knives. And she's the one that basically taught Vash's ideals not to kill anyone. So, she's voiced by Bridget Hoffman, Shinobu from Love Hina, and Dominique from The Bouncer. Yes, I picked two random roles. By that I mean roles that you should, with Dominique from The Bouncer, we've LP'd that, you should go watch. Definitely not plug-in or anything.
Oh, I can't believe you're shilling for yourself. What an asshole. Wait a minute, I was there for that too. Damn it, you made me an asshole by proxy.
Yes. Well, anyway, I mean, she's basically typecast as the, you know, typical innocent type, so not real much to say there. She's fine. Now, the last one to mention on the main cast list is the one who basically is our main antag till Knives shows up. He's Knives' right-hand man, because Knives is head of a group called the Gung Ho Guns. And the names of the guys in this group are fucking amazing. Unless you could tell me you could come up with better names than Ride the Blade, Zazie the Beast, or Mid-Valley the Horn Freak.
That's an inaccurate name either. He does strangle the shit out of that saxophone.
Yeah, all these guys have awesome over-the-top as fuck anime powers, dude. It's great. But their leader, the leader of the Gung Ho Guns, because they all serve knives or whatever, is Legato Blue Summers, who could basically use his mind to control your actions. And he's voiced by Richard Cancino, who has apparently somehow been in every single one of the space westerns at this time. Carlos from Cowboy Bebop, and he was a bunch of one-off characters in Outlaw Star.
And he was Renji in Bleach.
The live-action movie?
Yeah.
But his most notable role, Duragon C. Mikado from The Bouncer. You know, the stupid part is he's doing a similar voice in The Bouncer that he did here, or whichever one was dubbed first. He even says Dominique in Trigun, the exact same way he pronounces it in fucking Bouncer. It's really stupid. But yeah, Richard Cancino does a fucking awesome job with this role. So, overall, the dub, like, for all the mains is really good. As far as double casting goes, none of the mains were double casted, but, yeah. As far as the side characters, there's a handful that are recycled. I mean, we heard a few.
Better than most modern dubs.
Holy shit. I'd honestly say, yeah, the double casting I don't think is as bad as Bleach. Certainly not as bad as fucking Platinum Ends.
It's like some of them we probably wouldn't even notice, but we just happened to do Gungrave recently, so...
Dr. T.
He was a couple of people.
Yeah. Let's see, Steve Blum voiced a few one-off characters. Mona Marshall was a handful. Which she's got a distinct voice, so you can tell she's... when she shows up. I mean, Michelle Ruff voices a one-off character who bullies JYB. I guess this is where it all started.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, I think the dub does hold up pretty well for being a dub from 20 years ago. I mean, this was at the point when anime dubbing was starting to pick up a lot and get really good. And MVP for the animes easily got to go to Johnny Yong Bosch as Vash. Because, again, for a debut anime voice role especially, and with a character as complex as Vash, having to go wildly between two different extremes, this could have easily turned into a fucking disaster. But we're not quite done yet, as you could tell by the title, because even though the Trigun anime ended with a lot of it being pseudo-filler, good filler too, actually, proving you can do filler correctly. Unless you've got it. I know! I'm sorry, I've never given into that argument of mindlessly bashing filler like it's the be-all, end-all, when there's perfectly good examples of filler done right, between this and 03 FMA, and even Outlaw Star.
Yeah. And then there's bird shit.
Hey, it's the same with... Hey, some canon material can be dog shit, man. So I'd say filler's in the same ballpark.
Yeah, and then the same people who claim that like fillers, like some of the fillers more than the canon material, and it's hilarious.
Well, yeah.
You know who you are.
Go watch Trigun if you haven't. Because now we're moving on to the anime film, Badlands Rumble. So Badlands Rumble was announced in 2005, but was clearly in some sort of development hell since it didn't come out until 2010. Which means this movie could have also turned into a fucking disaster, as usually these things do, but surprisingly it didn't. I'd actually say this movie's decent. Well, Funimation would get the rights to it and release it in 2011, which, you all know what that means. Who's ready for all the mains to be replaced with the exception of JYB?
The classic.
Well, the plot of this movie takes place 20 years in the past, soon after Vash destroyed... It opens up with that. After Vash destroyed that city... as he basically stumbles upon a bank robbery. Rather than kill the bank robber, though, that took everyone hostage and caused a bunch of destruction, he lets him go, showing him mercy. Again, his whole ideal and everything. The problem is now we're at present day at the same time as the anime. And that criminal's come back, causing a bunch of havoc and shit. So, answers that whole question. If Vash hadn't shown this guy mercy, then a lot of people this guy killed in those past 20 years would have still been alive. So did Vash make the wrong decision or not? That's up for you to decide. And the movie does a good job presenting both sides of the argument, too. So, Dai, how's the animation of the movie?
Yes.
I mean, it's a movie by Madhouse. I'm assuming it's probably top tier. Especially with how this movie was basically a reunion project for Trigun fans. Being as how they even had dialogue. Hey, we haven't run into each other for quite a while. Feels like it's been ages. What?
Yeah. That was totally a forced in line because of the production, clearly.
Yeah. Well, as far as OST goes, it's fun. I mean, it even has some, like, a new rendition of the opening of the old anime. Well, Now for the dub, though. Sadie art directed, this time by Zach Bolton, who we've covered here before. Onitsudate My Santa. That anime Funimation recalled and said they'd re-release and never did. Scamming people out of money. Unless they refunded people, but I wouldn't put it past them if they didn't.
With how much they went bankrupt, probably not.
Well, yeah. I'd say the dub is fine. So, let's get to it. JYB is Vash, and you can definitely tell he has about another decade's worth of experience under his belt. He immediately fit right back into the role like nothing changed. And I'd probably say this is when his Vash might be at its best, honestly. Which makes sense, more experienced and all. Makes me wonder how good he'll sound in Stampede with yet another decade with him. It's gonna be like 2060 if we get when we get another Trigun rendition, because like every 10 years this series comes back, and JYB's still gonna be voicing and pushing 100.
It's the horse that keeps getting back up.
Well, he does great as him. No complaints. So let's move on to the replacements. Fortunately, only a handful of mains show up in this movie, since it's an independent story. Yeah, a lot of Trigun is episodic in the beginning, like the movie is. What's up?
And in reality, outside the antags, we only really have 4 mains, including Vash.
Yeah. Well, first we have Meryl, voiced now by Lucy Christian, Uraraka from My Hero Academia, and Hesia's Bestia from Danmachi.
Someone else who also has a tendency to voice a lot of Soons.
Hi, Nami from One Piece. Well, she fits in fine as Meryl. I mean, given the situation, if they got her back in for Stampede, because Meryl hasn't been announced yet of who's replacing her or voicing her, then be fine with it. If you're marathoning the anime and then the movie right after, it might sound a little weird to get used to at first, but they could have picked a worse replacement, I think. After her, we have Millie, who's now voiced by Trina Nishimura, someone who probably could use more work at this point. Mikasa from Attack on Titan. And Makise from Steins Gate. Worst girl, I don't care what you say. Wait a minute. Honestly,
I would be wrong all the time.
I can't help it. Wait a minute. I'd honestly say she's probably the closest at sounding like the old voice actress. I don't even know if everyone will be able to tell right away. She sounds pretty spot on.
It also helps that she voices characters like that.
Yeah. Anyone remember Akko from Netake? That was definitely an anime.
That was a show. It existed. If you keep bringing it up, they're gonna make you watch it again.
Well, let's just move on before that happens. Next, we have Wolfwood, Preacher Man. Voiced now by Brad Hawkins. The only good goblin is a dead goblin. But he's
Goblin?
He's Goblin Slayer. Or Bloodman from Fairy Tail. And I'd say he does fine too. If they got him back for Wolfwood, I'd be okay with it. None of these replacements are bad. Like, they could have done a lot worse, honestly. Now that I think about it, actually,
I mean, he does
What's it?
kinda sound close enough.
Yeah. So, you know. But after him, we have got the movie, which there's only 3 that are worth mentioning. So, first, we have our main antag that Vash let go. Gasback, who sometimes they call Gasbag, it sounds like. I don't know.
It's just because it's back, and they're saying it back to back.
Yeah. Well, Gasback's whole thing is... I knew you were going to do that. His whole thing is he wants to cause the biggest heist possible. He gets off on the thrill of committing the robbery itself. Because he's insane. So he's a bank robber sexual? I didn't even know that was a thing until now.
There's always a new thing around every corner. Just look at the internet. You know, it's like I thought, don't.
Well, he's voiced by John Swayze, Gendo from Maven Jellyfish, and Dallas Zachary from Attack on Titan. Seriously, what is the final season of that airing? The final part of that.
This year is all we got.
Well, John does a great job sounding like, you know, fucking criminal man. Gasback does come across as intimidating, like you don't want to fuck with him. He has a really good introduction and everything.
It also helped.
What? Oh, I think Dai's dead. Oh, you're back. Hi. Dai?
No idea what happened.
I think your headset desynced is what happened.
I said it also helps that he's like 10 feet tall and built like a truck.
Yeah, that'd do it too. So, him then is dynamic with the other main of the movie, a chick named Amelia, who's a bounty hunter going after him because, yeah, Gasback kind of killed her. Well, it's his fault that her mom died. Best way I could put it. So, she's angry because Vash is the one who let him go, and Vash is having to deal with that whole thing of, well, because I let him go, her mom and other people got hurt, so shit, the fuck. But Vash still clings to his ideals and all that shit. You know the whole theme of the franchise.
Or the theme of the movie, because they ran it into the ground by the end, is a roll of the dice.
Yep. You choose your own fate. Don't, you know, stick to your ideals and what you believe in. Well, Amelia is voiced by Colleen Clinkenbeard, Urza from Fairy Tail, and Android 18 from DBZ Kai's dub. It's still weird hearing her as 18. Colleen does a great job here. The reason I'm sighing is because of her whole stupid thing going on about women aren't powerful in anime last year, which was fucking retarded. It's not like she's voiced nothing but powerful women the majority of the time, but fuck it, what do I know?
You don't know anything, you live at home.
But yeah, she does a really good job as Amelia. Especially when she has to sound all angry. Bizarrely enough, though, young Amelia in the flashbacks is voiced by Jeremy Lee. I don't understand why, but sure.
Sometimes they just change them like that, and sometimes they don't. It's a roll of the dice.
I should slap you for that alone. Well, the last one to go over for the movie is Gasback's right-hand man, guy named Kane, who got away from Gasback in the past and with a shit ton of money. So he changed his name and became the mayor of a city, but when he hears Gasback might be coming after him for revenge, he hires a bunch of bounty hunters, hence the setup of the film. And since he's an older dude, he's voiced by Kent Williams, Giraud from DBZ, and Father from FMA Brotherhood. I mean, he does good. He comes across like a spineless dick who'd fuck everyone over, since that's what he does.
Also, he's wearing a man.
He's what? Hey, at least it's not my headset fucking up this time.
Oh my god,
It'll be mine next time, man. Don't worry about it. My headset will fuck up. But yeah. Oh, you're back. Okay. So what are you gonna say? He wears who? What?
I'm pretty sure it's on your end where this is happening.
Well, I'll check the stream or the thing after this. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, he wears a face mask that pretty much makes it look like mankind in the future.
Oh my god, that's kind of amazing, actually.
Remember, he gets forehead flicked by someone that big. Over and over again. And then, well...
Yeah. But remember, Di, his piece of shit statue's worth $5 billion double dollars.
And remember, guys, don't buy a wireless headset.
Well, as far as the rest of the cast, it's your typical Funimation cast. You got Newton Pittman actually voicing someone, that's cool.
He's one of the robber gang.
Yeah. And, I mean, you get JYB playing off of Andrew Love, which is something I thought I would never hear. Again, I saw this movie when it first came out over a decade ago, so, you know, other than, like, JYB and a few other people, I didn't know Buzz by names back then. You even get Vin Bad Voice! But we're not in March yet, so it doesn't matter right now. But overall, I think the dub for the movie is fine. My only sad point is we didn't get Brandon Potter voicing someone who bullied JYB.
Oh well, there's always Stamp.
Oh, I hope it's Stampede. But yeah, film is great, dub is great. Go watch Trigun if you haven't. If you've seen the anime and not the movie, well then go watch the movie. Movie's good. Especially when there's a lot of times in film is based on an anime movie, based on an anime series, and it's usually just a shameless cash grab and feels like a filler movie that does nothing. I'd say this movie at least goes with the ideals of the show and does a good job at presenting everything. It's just a fun film. But that about brings us to the end. So, yeah. At some point, we will probably cover Trigun Stampede. Hopefully they just go to Vash. Because if not, we're going to have to call him something else, like Vash Stampede. That's going to be
okay, I'm pretty sure it's on your end. You're starting to cut out really bad.
Fan-fucking-tastic. Okay. Well, we're done anyways. Go watch Trigun. That's all I could say. And just remember one thing, though, Di, and everyone out there. So is yours, man. Remember, I have Strip Fighter on in the background. The audio was coming in fine for the game. It was the chat audio. But it wouldn't be our channel if something didn't turn into a fucking disaster, now would it?
Well, it is PSN.
MVP of the dub for the film, though. John Swayze and JYB. Big surprise. But that's it. This world is made of love and peace, and if you haven't seen Trigun, fix that. Until next time, guys. Have yourselves a great day. And if you want to be Vash, then all you have to do is eat a bunch of donuts and shout and like an idiot. So, coming up next, will probably be Record Ragnarok Season 2, since that's coming up, and I can't wait. It's going to be fun. Thanks again for watching. So till then, bye! Love and peace!